Hey folks, my name is Robin and welcome back to Only the Best Fantasy Novels. And today I want to talk about a book that's now in the running for my favorite book of the year, and that is The West Passage by Jared Pechaček. And this story follows the adventures of two characters. One in particular I'll talk about is Q, who is the apprentice to the Guardian of the West Passage. The Guardian's job is to protect the West Passage against the coming of the beast, which is essentially this unnatural force that it just wreaks havoc and destruction every time it rises, and it rises time to time over the course of centuries. And it's always the Guardian's job to defend against them. So there are signs that the beast is coming again. The current Guardian lies dead, and Q, in just a arbitrary act of fate, is denied his promotion. So he sets out in a quest to go to the ruler of the palace to get the promotion that was denied to him. And then there is another storyline involving a character named Pell, who is she is an apprentice of the Great Tower, and she goes on this really radical journey. I really don't want to talk about her because her storyline is arguably the most fascinating one of the story, and there's just so much to spoil if we try to talk about that. That's one I leave for you to read and find out. But it's crazy. Anyway, so why am I so much in love with this book? This book is very Gormengastian in that the entire story, the entire world takes place within the confines of this castle, this palace. And this palace is huge. It's comprised of a few different towers, separated by color. So there's like the Grey Tower, the Black Tower, the Blue Tower, etc. And they're so... The palace is just so huge and vast and spread out that there's like trains between the different towers, and it's all contained within this castle, this palace, and it's just this absolutely huge world, and it's a world in decline. Like the magic, the power, the culture, the tradition, even the population, the economic ability, everything about this world, everything is just in decline. At the same time, it's a world heavily ruled by tradition, by culture, by ritual, to the point that the current inhabitants of this world, they have no idea why they do what they do. They just do it because that's how it's always been done, and that's how they'll continue to do it. Whether any of these traditions make any sense whatsoever, they don't care. They do it. They have no understanding of why they do certain things. Random events in history are upheld and observed, whether they're significant or not. It's a very strange... It's very Gormengastian in that respect. And at the same time, this is just one of just the most creative, vibrant worlds out there. Like, one of the things I have to talk about this novel by comparing it to Gormenghast, because it is so heavily influenced by Gormenghast that you really can't... I really can't describe it without juxtaposing without comparing it to Gormenghast, basically. Anyway, so Gormenghast, it just has like this dark, bleak feel. Like, every time I imagine the world of Gormenghast, I imagine it in black and white, in monochrome. That's not the case with this world. Like, this world is colorful, it's vibrant, it's extremely magical. It's like a fairy realm on acid and steroids. There's these different colored towers. Each color is each tower is ruled by different... they have these different orders of disciplines within them. Each and the orders take their names from different flowers and these kind of things. Different flowers, different plants, and they follow a very rigorous hierarchy. So like you'll have, like, example, Sparrow 31, who is junior to Sparrow 30, who is junior to Sparrow 29, and all the way up to Sparrow 1, who is the current head of the sparrows of their particular discipline. And these disciplines are always very niche. Like, there are disciplines dedicated to toy making, disciplines dedicated to traveling itinerants, these kind of things. So it's a very rigorous, very extremely structured world, and at the same time it's just absolutely bonkers in terms of creativity and imagination. Like right on the front cover, you can see the rulers of these different towers, and this cover is just it perfectly captures exactly what these rulers look like. Is the only thing I'll say about that. Like it's extremely creative in that regard, and over the course of the novel, like as things unfold, like you just realize just how much weirder, how much stranger this world is, as these two characters, they journey out on different goals with different objectives, and they end up seeing different parts of the of this world. Like the best way to describe it is that it's just weird. It's just weird. Weird and wonderful is the only way to describe it. Like there's one scene where they talk about I won't touch on that, but they very gourmet is all I'll say about that. At the same time, one of the things I liked about this book is that, like the major, by the end, it has a lot of mystery to it. Like Pell, her role in this is to kind of start to unravel the mystery of some of the history and some of the lore of this world, because she's naturally inquisitive. She questions things, and at the same time she's very rigid and very static in her in the way that she's been brought up. She kind of embodies the future of the old guard of this world, whereas Hawthorne wants to see what comes next. Yeah. And between the two of them, like one of the things that kind of plays out over the course of this novel is change. Like this world is very ossified. It's become very fossilized, and the only way that it can survive, because it is very much in decline, it's the only way it can really anything can really improve is through change. And by the end of the novel, like that's a theme that kind of plays out in not just in these two characters, but in some of the other characters that we meet along the way, and in the decisions that are made. Change is very much at the core of this series. But before we even get to that, I should warn readers, this is the only character that matters in this story is the world. Like each page, each movement of these minor characters in this world, we just get a deeper immersion, a deeper exploration into just this crazy, vibrant, weird, wacky world of this palace. Like this palace is the feature character of this book. So this is a very plot driven book. There is some character work for the POVs that we experience the story through, but the highlight of this book is very much the character and the world and the ruling forces therein. So there's that. And like I said, this book, at its core, there's a lot of mystery to it, because you have these traditions that make no sense, these rituals that make no sense, and you have this coming of the beast that in and of itself makes no sense. And as the characters, they slowly begin to piece together, like the mystery of this. Like it becomes quite glaring what's happening here, and it's something that the author actually plays with us with. Like he acknowledges that he breaks the fourth wall at different points to kind of like narrate directly to the reader, because that's one of the cool things about this book. Like it has almost like a fairy tale style of narration to it, and Jared very much, he breaks the fourth wall to speak directly to the reader, to acknowledge that yes, your assumptions are right. These seeds that I laid do indeed point in this direction. The characters don't necessarily know that, or even if they know that, they have this challenge to overcome before that they can actually act on what they know, and these kind of things. So it's just fascinating to read. Like if you're a fan of Gormenghast, if you're a fan of like books that play with they play with their narration style, they're weird, they're imaginative, they're creative, And it even, like I said, it even has like a fairy tale-esque vibe to it. In just like you get this feeling of mythos, of legend, in the way that the story is just narrated to you. Like, all of that just combines to give this book just a really wonderful atmosphere, and just made it like a really compelling reading experience. Like, it's hard to talk about this book and not gush and not just go on and on and on. But yeah, like, one of the most vibrant, creative novels of this year. Like I said, so far for this year, my book of the year was The Spear Cuts Through Water, by Simon Jimenez. And this book could knock it clean out of the running. Honestly, at this point, I have no idea which one is going to be my book of the year, but I suspect it's going to be one of the two. I don't see anything coming out this year that could top this, and that includes Stormlight 5 and the second Benedict Jack novel, the second Stephen Oakwood novel that's going to be coming out. Though I am ready to face this on the launch. Let's see. Never say never, right? But yeah, absolutely creative. If you're a fan of fantasy that just plays a genre and just plays like just absolutely defies your expectation of what genre fantasy is, this is a book to pick up. Like, this is one I'm going to recommend for years to come, easily. Absolutely wonderful. Highly recommended. Pick it up and read it. Like, this book isn't going to be for everyone. It is going to be for you if you like fantasy off the beaten path. It is certainly one of the best fantasy novels, not just that I've read this year, but this book is easily a new favorite of mine. And that's not something that happens often these days. So yeah, check it out, check it out, check it out. If you made it this far into this video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.